I'm Elizabeth, and today I'm going to be talking about different cosmetic treatments that you could consider for your wedding. First thing I want to say is you do not need any of the things necessarily in this video. Maybe you do, I don't know, maybe you don't. But I want to say that whatever you want to do for the wedding, that is your choice. There are too many people in this world who shame people for trying to make themselves feel better about the way they look in a healthy way. Now, of course, there are people who take treatments, whether it's surgical or cosmetic, a little too far, and that's just their issue, okay? But today I want to be talking about options that you guys have to maybe make yourself feel or look better on the wedding day. Now, you could do all of these things, you could do none of these things, you could do one of these things, but again, like, to each their own. So there's some things in here that, like, pretty much I've done a lot of these things for the wedding actually, and just for life in general. So I just want to say, like, never judge somebody for doing something to make themselves feel better. That is their choice. It does not affect you. It only affects them. And if it makes them feel better about themselves, whether for life or for the wedding day, then go them. That is so amazing. So the first one that I'm going to be talking about is if you guys do not love the way that your teeth are shaped, whether it is from a more like practical method or more cosmetic method, you can always try Invisalign. I actually did do Invisalign and I was in them like 2 years, so start yesterday if this is something you're considering. I unfortunately did not wear my retainer very long after I had braces many years ago, so that was a super expensive, regrettable mistake, and I had my teeth shifting and I didn't love the way that my bottom teeth looked, and I went to I actually interviewed 3 different Invisalign providers, and they all 3 told me that the way my teeth were starting to move was going to start causing a problem. So this is one you might actually need based on your teeth and how it affects your jaw and your mouth and your enamel. It's also something you might want cosmetically. So the thing with Invisalign is it can take a really long time. So if your wedding is like 4 months away, it might be a little late to start this, but if you have some time, if you have a year or so, let your orthodontist know. Say, I'm getting this to make my teeth better. I understand they might not be finished then, but if they have to put any buttons on your teeth, just let them know, because you're not going to want those on your wedding day. But Invisalign for me, it was extremely annoying, but I'm very glad that I did it. Again, mine went on 2 years. I could have done them more like a year and a half, but I felt like there was a little bit more wiggle room to go. Again, this is something you should start ASAP if you have the time to do it. I want to take like a quick kind of like thing here to say, if you're doing anything surgical, do it as soon as possible. Never do it super close to the wedding, because anything like that, you are going to want to fully heal and allow your swelling to completely go away long before your wedding, even maybe long before your engagement session. And with all of these suggestions that I've already made and that I will continue to make, please choose your provider wisely. A lot of these are not things that you should be risking with a bargain bin Groupon savings deal. Your body should not be risked for saving some money, okay? Either don't do it or pick the right person. Go to a reputable person. Do not like go get Botox from some back alley person offering it for like $10 total. I would never do something like that, okay? That's way too risky. It could end up doing something really horrible because that person is not so great at what they do. So please just be careful. If somebody offers a good deal, make sure they have incredible reviews so it's not too good to be true. I'd already talked about Invisalign, but one more thing I want to say about your teeth is whitening your teeth. This is something that really helps out in photos. I was whitening my teeth a couple like months before the engagement session, actually maybe more like a month, and then I did it another 2 weeks before the wedding just as a touch-up, and it was really nice to have that, because with the Invisalign, my teeth did get darker. That's something that's going to happen if you're having Invisalign or braces. Your teeth just are naturally going to get darker, and they're not going to be as white as you might want them to be. Now, maybe don't go overboard. They say you don't ever want them like as white as a shade of paper. Listen to your dentist or whoever is providing you with the teeth whitening. You could kind of do it at home by yourself, or there are some dentists where you can literally go in, knock it all out in one day, and you're done. It might be a little more uncomfortable, might be a little bit more pricey, but you don't have to keep doing it yourself. Choose whatever method works for you. But again, this is one of those things you're going to want to start doing ahead of time. Don't wait till the week before your wedding and expect dramatic results unless you're going somewhere that can actually provide dramatic results. So the next thing I've talked about, and I recently did post a video with my personal trainer, which I'll link to up here. If you are looking to lose weight or gain muscle or do any sort of natural body shaping before the wedding, again, this is something you need to start yesterday. So when I say that, I just mean do not wait. Do not like, when's the best time? Now. Now is always the best time to to start making healthy changes for your body, whether you are trimming down or you're bulking up, whatever your goals are, the sooner you start, the more results you will have before your wedding. You guys could join a new fitness regimen, or you could just start eating a little bit differently, see what happens, but do it in a healthy way. Don't compromise your body. Make sure that you're doing it under really good practices. You know, you can Google all sorts of things. There are different methods. There's calorie counting, there's intermittent fasting, there's keto, there's this and that, there's Pilates, there's weightlifting, there's cardio stuff. Just research and figure out what's going to be the best for your goals and your body, and then just go from there. But again, start as soon as you possibly can if you're wanting to have the best results possible before your wedding day. This next one is Botox. I like Botox, okay? I started Botox a little earlier in my life just because I have a family member who's a professional, who's able to provide it for me. So I was like, okay, I'll try it. It's great. And I will say that it is really nice. And some people say, well, oh, like it makes you look fake. Don't get a heavy-handed plastic surgeon or dermatologist. Choose somebody who has results that give you what you want but are not crazy over the top. You don't want to walk around looking like Madame Tussauds wax figure who can't move whatsoever. Just because it is a plastic surgery type thing doesn't always mean it's going to be over the top or unnatural. There's plenty of people who have it. I've gotten my Botox. It's starting to wear off now. I've literally never had anybody be like, do you have Botox? Because my face doesn't look crazy. So it's natural. It just makes sure that my wrinkles don't really set into my face. The earlier you start it, the more preventative it is. I'm not advocating you start it, but if this is something that you're thinking about, or if you're somebody who wants it for more medical reasons, like for me, it's really helped the tension headaches that I would get in between my brows, especially later in the day. And when I was reading, it really helped me out with that. For some people, it completely eliminates their migraines. So there's a lot of really cool, positive medical side effects that come from it. But again, this is something like never shame somebody for it, to each their own. But Botox is just something that could really help you if your wrinkles are bothering you. Again, I'm not saying do it. I'm saying if this is something you want to do, it's definitely an option. Now, having said that, do not just get Botox for the first time, like right around your wedding day. If you're considering it for your wedding day, do it at least 6 months before your wedding to make sure that your body does not have any adverse reactions to it, to make sure that you do indeed like it. And if you do, 6 months later or whatever, when it starts to wear off before your wedding, you can get it again. But make sure that if you're somebody who does bruise a little bit from it, you get it enough ahead of the wedding day so that that does not show up on your face on the day of. When it comes to something more like the hair on your body, I'm going to be talking about a couple of different things. So the first is microblading. Microblading is sort of like a tattoo. It's not totally permanent. Usually it's 1 to 2 years. That really does help you fill in the eyebrows that you have, or maybe that you don't have. I've seen people in before pictures who had, I swear, like 10 eyebrow hairs, and the microblader builds them a full natural looking set of eyebrows. If you feel like you're constantly filling in your brows and you don't want to do it anymore, whether you want just a partial or you want more of a full look, depending on the needs and how much hair you have already, this is something you should probably do a couple months in advance of the wedding, and at least just to give yourself time to heal. Typically they'll do it, then they'll do a touch-up maybe like 6 weeks later. So again, you need the time to do this just to make sure that it is not going to still be red, or you're not going to be peeling or flaking or anything like that right before your wedding day. Now the next one for hair is waxing. If you are somebody who does not want to deal with underarm hair right before the wedding, if you have a sleeveless gown, you can definitely try waxing if you aren't doing something like laser hair removal or electrolysis. I do electrolysis. It's really great. I never have to shave under my arms anymore. But for those of you who want a cheaper solution that is quicker and is more temporary, you can do waxing. Make sure that you have done waxing before so that you know exactly how your body reacts. For me, anytime I've had my eyebrows waxed, like to get my stray hairs, my eyebrows are always bumpy, red, and itchy for 4 to 5 days after. You can bet that there is nothing happening a week from that brow appointment because I would still be red, okay? So I want to make sure I'm not doing that. The same applies for waxing anywhere. If you've had waxing done and it usually goes fine for you, then maybe do it a week or a couple days before your wedding. And if you are somebody who typically gets red or gets irritated from waxing, think about the time that it takes to heal and then set that time and maybe some padding time before your wedding day so that you don't raise your arms up and there's like a bunch of red bumps under there. That's the last thing you want. This next one is derma planing. Derma planing is a really simple thing that usually most estheticians offer, and it's basically where they just get rid of all of the fine hair on the top of your face, gets a little bit of dead skin off. And the way to go about this is to do it, I would say, a couple of days before the wedding. Now again, you probably want to test this ahead of time. It's really not invasive. You might be a little bit red afterwards, but it's something that hopefully shouldn't really do anything negative to you. But the reason for this is when you get away all of that hair and dead skin, really just the peach fuzz on your face. I'm not talking about getting rid of your eyebrows. I'm talking about like the peach fuzz in places where you don't need it. It makes your makeup go on so much easier, and your face generally looks smoother because you've taken away a lot of that texture. I love doing this. I do this before any major photo shoot I have for my business. I did this like maybe 3 days before my wedding because I just wanted my face as smooth as possible. So in those up close photos, you didn't see a lot of my peach fuzz because I have a lot of peach fuzz. And I start to notice that my makeup looks less good when I do have my peach fuzz growing back. So at home, I literally just shave my face. I know a lot of women, like a lot of the beauty gurus, do this and it works really well for them. So I've started doing it whenever I remember to. But if I'm doing a professional event, I will typically have my face derma planed. It's usually not that costly and it's pretty quick. So just something to think about if you want really nice texture on your face. You can do this at home. There are things that you can buy to do it yourself. But if that scares you a little bit too much, you can go hire a professional to do it for you. All right, and the last one is going to be the more simple Mani-Pedi. This might be something you do all the time, but when it comes to your wedding day, you're going to want to do it as close as possible to the wedding to avoid chipping or fading or anything like that. If you do it a week out, it might be chipped. Now, one thing I'll say is that when I went to get my wedding manicure, I think it was the day before my wedding or 2 days before my wedding, my bridesmaids were like, you should do gel polish because it will stay on like literally through your honeymoon. And it did. I had never done gel. I typically don't get manicures because most manicures that I get just wear away in like 3 days. I'm like, what was the point of that? My pedicures will literally last me until it grows out. So when it comes to manicures, I was like, I'm really scared it's going to chip away. I'm scared it's going to like fade by the time of the wedding, even though it's 2 days later, because it always happens to me and I hate spending money on that. So they said get gel. Even though gel does kind of weaken your nails a little bit, it might be something that's nice to do just one time for your wedding so that it does stay through your wedding. And it stayed through my entire honeymoon and then some. Like it was there for so long and it was incredible because I had nice nails through every single picture I took over 3.5 weeks. But go get yourself a Mani-Pedi. It's something really fun to go do with your bridesmaids right before the rehearsal dinner. It could be just something nice. I did that and I thought it was really lovely. We went to brunch and then we went and got our nails done and that was just so nice. It was nice to spend time with them and also nice to have really pretty nails for the wedding. So these are all of my kind of cosmetic related things that you could do. Some are more extreme than others. Some are super simple. Some are really cheap. Some might not be so cheap like Invisalign. Some might take a year and a half. Some might take 30 minutes. So pick and choose what you want to do if you want to do any of them. If you don't want to do any of them, that's totally fine. If you have any other suggestions that maybe brides could consider of cosmetic treatments before their wedding day, feel free to leave them in the comments so that everybody can kind of see, think, oh, that's something cool that I never thought of that I could totally do. Anyways, I hope that you all enjoyed this video and I will see you next time. Bye!